Hey guys, Ronin Reaper here, back with a quick little review. So, I just got back from seeing Stillwater at the cinema. For those who don't know, this is the latest film from Tom Mccarthy, who directed Spotlight, and it stars Matt Damon as a man who goes over to France, where his daughter is serving time in prison for a murder she may or may not have committed. But Matt Damon's character Bill goes around up against a complicated legal system and language barriers. He doesn't speak a word of French. Basically, to prove his daughter's innocence and set her free. Now, from that description, you'd probably imagine like a Taken-esque thriller, and well, that's exactly what it was advertised as in the trailers, but interestingly, it's not. It's actually a much more mature and thoughtful film, and for what it is and what it is delivering, I really enjoyed it. Like, it knows what the story is trying to tell, and it is telling it in a very sensitive and, very hard-hitting way. There's some scenes that are pretty bleak, but it never succumbs to just being a generic thriller. This is very much focused on the human element, which is a nice surprise considering the whole wave of films, like action-heavy films, recently. But it's nice to just be in the company of just people for 2 hours, and this absolutely shines through in the relationship Bill builds with a stage actress and her daughter. And I thought these scenes were great. They were very warmly done, very tenderly crafted. And I really like that they used it to show that Bill is, trying to get a second chance at life after his mistakes earlier on in life. And talking to Bill, Matt Damon is great here. Like, here he plays a kind of all-American, like, gun-loving. He reveals he has 2 guns, and he has a tattoo of a bald eagle holding a skull which has a knife through it. And from that description, it's hard not to imagine a Jason Bourne type character, but he's not. He's much more complex than that, and I really like that. He's an oil rig worker. He's a roughneck, and he's a guy who, as I said, doesn't speak a word of French and knows nothing of the legal system. But instead, throughout the film, we see him learning, bettering himself, and trying to improve his relationship with his daughter, which is kind of estranged. And talking of his daughter, Abigail Breslin is fantastic as well. She gets some absolutely heart-wrenching scenes, which I was absolutely not expecting, and kind of took me by surprise a bit, and actually hit me in the feels. Although, interestingly, one such scene of her about midway, maybe quite late on during the film, where we learn that she tried to take her life in prison, is never brought up again, which there's so much they could have explored from that, but they don't. But, overall, I really enjoyed this. Obviously, I say it's a very human, thoughtful, mature film. It obviously does ramp up the suspense in some scenes as the case deepens and we learn more of the evidence surrounding it. But it never feels like it's doing it in an action movie way. There is like one fight scene of sorts, but it's not an exciting like punch up. Well, it is a punch up, but it's not like a stylized and exciting thing. It feels just very gritty and real, which it should and does. And it really hammers home the serious tone of the film. And obviously, in keeping with this tone, there's no flashy directing or cinematography, although that does capture some absolutely beautiful shots of the natural surroundings in France, which is not always much appreciated. But if there's one like real negative I could say about it is the ending. You know, the film built itself up really well over the 2 hour, 20-minute runtime, but the way it ends, like it ends on a very unconclusive and actually pretty abrupt note almost. It's a real shame because given what the film had done before, they probably could have ended it on a better note. But overall, that little negative aside, I did really enjoy this film and I highly recommend you check it out. Get to it at the cinema if you can. Well, it is opening. It did open fairly wide, so you should be able to find a screening. But just in case it doesn't have too much of a cinema run, get to it while you can because it really is great. If you don't, and you end up waiting for the home release, it's still great. Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Stillwater. Let me know down in the comments. Have you seen it? What do you guys think of it? Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.